Hello, how's it going? Okay, I think we are live, Sergio. How you doing, man? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I think you're on
Sorry, I was unmuted. Good. All good. Good to hear. Good to see you. Good to see everybody here joining. We're around 60 participants now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. Perfect. So we're starting on time. We're going to give it a couple minutes, just 2 more minutes or so to let everyone log in. And yeah, so in the meantime, get your water or get your coffee or whatever it is that you need to get ready for the presentation. You're in Mexico right now, right?
Yeah. Flying on the weekend back to New York, but yeah.
Yeah, me too. Very cool. Very cool. You have to use the earbuds while you're in Mexico?
Not really. It's just like, I don't want to brag, but my Spanish is really good. So
yeah.
Yeah,
right on. Okay. I've got a few people
Alabama.
Here in the chat. Yeah, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, Alabama. Nice to see you guys. All right. We'll give it another couple minutes. People log in. The agenda for the call is to we'll just start with some introductions, and then we will eventually move into we'll give you a platform, maybe like 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, to talk about Ambassador Interpreter, the product, kind of go into it in detail, the hardware, the device, how it works, all the functions and the modes and all the features that it, how people are using it in different use cases. You can even, and then you'll have an opportunity to do some demonstration for everybody in attendance right now. So we'll do that for maybe 15 minutes, do a full, nice rundown of Ambassador Interpreter. Feel free to take your time. After that, we'll do a Q&A. And then after the Q&A, we'll jump into another quick demo of and discussion about some of our other products that we're working on, including Ambassador Web, which is a beta product that we have for virtual and remote conferences for translation. And then we'll do another Q&A after that one. And then we'll close the session out here. Does that work for you, man?
Totally works perfectly.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome. So let's just let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's start. I'm Andrew Ochoa. I'm the founder and CEO of Waverly Labs. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We have a nice attendance here so far. So that's great to see not only customers, but also investors and other stakeholders who are really passionate about the work that we do. We are a startup out of Brooklyn, New York, that focuses on voice and language technologies. We've been in the space for about 7 years now. We pioneered the concept of earbud translation, and we've been doing extremely well over the past few years since we've been actually in manufacturing and shipping products. We probably shipped, I think, 50,000 units worldwide. Is that right?
Right.
Some $10 million in sales. So it's been phenomenal work. We have a new product that we are shipping now. It's called Ambassador Interpreter. Sergio is going to talk more about it, but let me introduce him. He is a co-founder. He's been working with me on this project, on this company, for 7 years now. Sergio Diaz is he's from Querétaro, Mexico, and yeah, he's our VP of product, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Andrew. Hi, everybody. I'm very glad you're here. Yeah, as Andrew was mentioning, I am the VP of product. I'm in charge of the hardware and the software development. I coordinate those teams. We have a team of like excellent developers. They do like all the real magic and everything, that it's like complex and make it really fast and assertive and debugging stuff. And I also deal with the manufacturing with our partners in China, making sure that we can ship on time and, all the industrial design part, etc. And as you know, we have launched Ambassador recently. Probably some of you actually have your units already like in your hands, but for the guys that haven't seen them, this is the earpiece. It's pretty nice. All of them go in the right ear. And just a quick overview, we have 2 microphones. Probably you can see the first one right here. And the second microphone is right here. That helps us to do some beamforming processing. So when I'm wearing it correctly, it's always going to record from this area of my mouth, right? So that decreases some background noise that it's happening if you're in a coffee shop, in a cafeteria, whatever. you don't have to worry that much about like background noise. And the power button is here, volume is here. You also have the loudspeaker in here. And this form factor was inspired by the feedback that our customer gave us after Pilot. Pilot was our first product that was an in-ear translation earpiece. But for sharing, it wasn't as hygienic. So we wanted to have something that would go over the ear. So it's easier to share with like, everybody, easier to clean to. And the fact that it's outside the ear canal gives us a lot of room for improvement. We can have a bigger battery. We can have more separations between the microphones. There are a lot of things that we improved into this generation. Well, that's for the part of the hardware. You can, this earpiece also has implemented a connectivity protocol and a new firmware protocol that a lot of our customers were asking for, that would allow you to connect up to 4 of these devices to one single phone. So it's a very straightforward process. You don't need to worry about more phones or whatever. You just pair 4 of this to one single phone, and each one could be speaking a different language, meaning that I could have this one in French, this one in Spanish, the other one in Italian. So it gives you a lot of flexibility for different scenarios. And
can you talk about that more? The capability to pair and share multiple devices together. That's kind of a novelty that was created through our patent and our what's the word? And through our custom protocol that we designed, right?
Right. Yeah. It took us a while. We actually have a patent. It was a lot of trial and error, debugging, etc. But we managed to have a very stable connection. We could potentially actually add more, but we have realized that with 4, it's a very stable, robust connection. That works across different platforms. Like it's Android and iOS. Like you don't have to worry. And just a quick note: the earbud is designed to be optimized for the right ear, but you can also use it on the left ear if you have to. It's just more comfortable on the right ear. But as long as both microphones are aligned to your mouth, you can still use it. So it's like, because I saw like somebody was asking about that on the chat, I think. So let me talk about the capabilities of the product, if that's okay. I'm going to switch my camera. So this is the app. This is the newest version of the app. So it's all like, fresh out of the water. And what we can have now is, I'm going to turn on the devices. I don't know if you can actually listen to the devices turning on.
Yeah, we can hear it.
But as soon as they turn on, they will connect. Before you had to go through the pairing process, but now you can just go quickly directly into the app, turn on the devices, and they will connect. And just as for quick reference, we have 3 modes. We have converse, which will allow you to have a conversation between different people, between different languages. Let me rotate the camera a little bit. So, for a meeting, for a business, for training, for classes, that's perfect. We also have lecture, which we're actually going to show you right now in a second. But that is great in case you have a conference, in case you're a professor, in case you want to, demo a product or whatever. Lecture is great because it will capture your voice and then would translate the results. And then finally, you have listen, which allows you to do the opposite, right? You can go to a room, sit in the audience, and then listen to whatever they're saying. Let's say in Turkish, you'll be able to hear it in English. So just for demo purposes right now, I'm gonna show you how to set up the device. I'm gonna put just Sergio. And I'm gonna select Spanish from Mexico. Oh, that's another thing. So with the ability that we have currently for selecting dialects, the accuracy of the translation increases a lot. So we don't only have English, we have Australian English, Canadian English, British English, and that excels in the part of there are many idioms, many expressions, even tones and accents that are captured better when you have dialects. So in my case, I'm going to select Spanish from Mexico.
How many languages does it support?
It supports 20 languages and 42 dialects.
Okay.
So yeah, and those tend to be the more common languages too, the ones that are more in demand. Right, and you can also select female and male voice tone. So, you know, if you're a guy, you might just want to be translated into a male voice and vice versa, right? So once
this is happening the first time you pair the device to the app, you have to go through the setup process, but every time after that, whenever you turn it on, it pairs automatically.
Right, exactly. The first time you would like add it manually, you would see a window like that. Let me turn on a new device. So you'll see it. Well, you'll see a list of the devices. And then once you see the device listed in the screen, you select it and it will prompt you to this screen. But after that, every time you turn the devices on, you will be able to just jump directly into this screen where you can select and do the setup. And once you go into one of the modes, right now I'm going to show you guys lecture mode. Let me try to switch the camera a little bit. Yeah, it's focused. Yeah. So I'm going to select the input language and target language, right? In this case, I'm going to select English so we can all validate the accuracy of the translation. And also we have something that we have just integrated like 2 releases ago that is called natural pause. We realized that we were actually doing the translation too fast sometimes. And when you speak normally, sometimes you take breaks. Sometimes you want to think about what you're going to say. So with the natural pause enabled, we give a little bit more room for the audience to actually, you know, think about what you're going to say and not be like caught while you're like in the middle of a conversation. For now, I'm just going to keep it off, but you know, it's good that you just tinker with it and see what adapts best to you. And once you're in the mode, let me just. Ahora que estamos en el modo de traducción, yo puedo hablar en español y ustedes van a escuchar la traducción en inglés.
Now that we are in translation mode, I can speak in Spanish and you will hear the translation in English.
Let me know if the volume is okay.
Yeah, we can hear it pretty good.
Yeah.
Also do me a favor and take me out.
Oh, you had it on.
I had it on. Es importante que tengamos un sistema que nos ayuda a comunicarnos de manera correcta. Oh. Sorry, no estaba grabando, perdonen. Lo que pasa es que tú tienes que presionar el botón del dispositivo y eso me permite hacer una pausa si no quiero que se traduzca todo lo que estoy diciendo.
I wasn't recording. Sorry. What happens is that you have to press the button on the device and it allows me to pause and I don't want everything I'm saying to be translated. Friend.
Y la idea es que tú puedas tener una conversación natural, como si estuvieras hablando con un amigo. No tienes que fijarte tanto en la velocidad con la que tú hablas. Tú puedes hablar de manera natural y puedes hablar de temas que son mucho más complejos. Puedes hablar de temas financieros, temas bancarios, temas médicos, y eso te expande la posibilidad con la que tú puedes tener tus negocios alrededor del mundo.
And you can have a natural conversation as if you were talking to a friend. You don't have to pay so much attention to the speed at which you speak. You can talk in a natural way and you can talk about topics that are much more complex. You can talk about financial topics, banking topics, medical topics, and that expands the possibility that you can have your business around the world.
Cool, man. Great demonstration.
Yeah. And just, you know, part of the user interface that I wanted to show you guys here is like you can easily switch. If you click on this button, it would allow you to flip the language in case you selected Spanish to English, but you actually wanted to translate English to Spanish. In lecture mode, you just like click here and flip it, right? So right now I will be speaking in English and it will translate to Spanish. And then I just like stop that translation. And the other thing is that you can increase the font size. So in case you want to see what's actually being translated or somebody else wants to see, it's almost like live with subtitles. You can have this screen even plugged to a monitor So in case you're giving a conference, a talk, or whatever, you can have the let's say the subtitles out there, right? And when you quit the conversation, it will give you this option. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I think you have it flipped, right? But
No,
it gives you the option to save and quit or quit without saving. So I'm just going to click quit, save and quit. So next time that we want to review whatever was like talked during the meeting or whatever, I can go to the part where the transcripts are, right? So this is for today, and I can see my conversation that I just had. Let's say we talked about prices or like, you know, measurements or whatever. This is like a good reference for the future. And I could even download it on PDF format and share it via, you know, email, Slack, or whatever. So this is totally, I'm not going to share it to anybody right now, but like this is something that it's very useful for a lot of business cases, sales, etc. in case you want to, you know, just review what happened. So it's almost like you are not only having a meeting, you're also having a transcript of the meeting automatically. Almost sometimes you kind of want to use it just English to English, you know, just to have the capability.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's it. And lecture, I like lecture because it's a good example when we're in Zoom and showing how the product actually works. But let's say if we were in Converse, it would be the same thing, but the translation will be shown in the other earpiece, right? So let's say whatever I'm saying in Spanish in this earpiece will come out in English, and it will be recorded in this earpiece in Spanish, and vice versa, right?
So lecture is good for setting up your iPad or your tablet or your smartphone, and using the speakerphone, it says what you're saying into a language for the audience.
Right.
You're lecturing to the audience through the app.
And that's actually a very good point that you mentioned, and I was about to forget it. If you are in a conference, let's say you have a medical conference in Turkey, right? You want to be speaking in English, you can actually connect your iPad, your phone, or whatever to the speaker system in the auditorium. So you would not be translating for one person or like everybody who's nearby. You could be translating for 5,000 people or whatever, you know?
Yeah, you would just put in a little phone jack into your smartphone, your app, or whatever.
Right. Give me a second.
Okay. So that was one of 3 modes. That was lecture, and like you were saying, converse is the other one where actually you would wear one and I would wear one. And we would just be kind of standing face to face with each other and talking back and forth in different languages, right?
Correct. Yeah.
That's converse. It supports up to 4 devices for converse. So it could be me, you, and 2 other people and sitting at a table, each wearing an earbud, and it's translating to us, even in 4 different languages, all 4 of us.
Correct. Yeah. It will be going back and forth. You will see the transcript in the different languages. For example, if you have Russian or Chinese, you would be able to see the transcript in those languages as well. And then, yeah, it'll just be going back and forth, back and forth. As you saw, guys, the translation is very fast. And the reason for that is that there are many layers of compression. So we have been working a lot on the algorithms that we use currently for the compression on the devices. That speeds up a lot the connection that when you send let's say the files to the cloud. And we do the translation in the cloud because that's the way that we have discovered that it's going to be more accurate. If you try to do that offline, it's not really going to work. Like, I mean, it works fine. Yeah. And we're actually working on that too, but the quality of the translation decreases. So for extreme situations where you don't have connection, it's, you know, we are working on a stream, like a downloadable model, but for the online model, a lot of work has been going on the back end for doing it as fast as possible.
Cool. Let's go. So great demonstration, great presentation. Let's go through some of these questions. We have a lot of questions here, and I want to get through them. So is it Bluetooth only, or can it connect via Wi-Fi to a router?
Yeah, I mean the devices connect to the phone via Bluetooth. So yeah. Wi-Fi could be a solution. Actually, it would have simplified our lives a little bit, but it was not ideal for phones or tablets because then you lose the Wi-Fi connection. So yeah, cool.
Here's the next one that we have, and I'm going to try to go through as many of these as possible. We have quite a bit here. I recently had to start using hearing aids that are connected by Bluetooth to my iPhone. do you have a product that would allow me to get translations through my in-ear hearing aids? So not currently, we don't have a product that would allow for that, that use our software on hearing aids. I can say that we have had conversations with hearing aid companies about some integrations and some partnerships there. So we don't currently have a hearing aid, or we don't. Our software isn't currently integrated with any hearing aids, but it's something that we are exploring. So here's a new question. For the second device, if you are in conversational mode, do you need to set it up every time you talk to a new person?
So, I mean, the device will remember the language that you used in the last session. So it's more common that if you're, let's say, in Turkey, you're always going to be, translating English to Turkish, but you don't have to type in the name again or whatever. It just gives you the ability to set it up and adapt to your situation. Maybe you're talking with a woman now, and you want to change to female tone, but you don't have to.
Right. So it auto pairs automatically every time when you turn it on, it automatically pairs to the smartphone into the app. So that's really fast. And then also once you select the language, there are some recently used languages at the very top of as soon as you open that page. So pairing is pretty quick and setting up is very fast. And it'll, like Sergio was saying, it'll automatically assume the same parameters as the last conversation you had. So if it was in French with the female's voice, it'll assume those parameters next time you pair it, but you can change it really fast.
Right.
Okay, so let's go through a few more here. Can you only do 4 others in lecture mode? Can you only do 4 others in lecture mode? I think he has the 2 different modes mixed up. Maybe you can clarify that.
So for lecture mode, you only need 1 device, right? So because the translation comes out like for the entire audience, right? In the conversation where you have multiple devices, in the mode where you have multiple devices, that's converse. So for converse, you can have up to 4. I don't know if that clarifies that.
Yeah. Converse pairs up to 4 devices together, so they can have 4 people speaking, but lecture mode will actually just transmit to everybody in the audience through your smartphone or your tablet speakerphone. That's the feature that he was demonstrating earlier. But currently converse is limited to only 4 people. For earbuds, we are actually working on a platform that will allow for more to sing together. Right?
Correct. Yeah. We might actually have a chance to show a little bit of everything that's coming today.
So next question, how fast is it in conversation mode? How long do I have to wait for the speaker to finish before I hear or see the translation?
So actually, the way it's designed is whenever you make a pause, the system will detect that your voice has lowered down, and then it will shoot the translation. So it's a pause about 500 milliseconds. So it's pretty short. It's more about also if you select the time to breathe mode or not, or the just cutting the translation really quickly. The thing is, like in the time to breathe, we have realized that people feel that they can have a more natural conversation. And then we make a break around 3 seconds. So 2.75 seconds actually. So that gives you more time to speak more like a human being, So it depends on the parameter you set up.
Yeah, exactly. And then also on that topic, we are working on an algorithm to do true real-time translation. It's in testing right now internally, which is it'll translate as alongside you speaking. I don't want to say too much about it. I don't want to be too optimistic. It's a very complicated problem to solve, but it is something that we are working on, and so hopefully we'll have a chance to demonstrate that later this year as well. See. Another question earlier, one had to press the earpiece each time before one could speak. Is it correct that it is no longer needed? So that's talking about the click to talk versus continuous feature.
Right. Yeah. That's actually a great question. So actually on the news release for listen and lecture, we just jumped directly into the translation. Originally we had it that you had to click once to start the recording, but now we have decided just to jump in directly to avoid one extra step. And for converse, we have 2 modes, one that is continuous and one that is like click to talk. Normally, click to talk works better. The thing is, like in that way, you cannot interrupt each other. you prevent crosstalk or contamination. Let's say I'm speaking Spanish and then you have another device in Italian. If I speak too loud, your device in Italian will try to translate my Spanish, right? Especially because they're very similar languages. So in general, we recommend click to talk for converse for a scenario where you have many people. But in the settings, you can activate it or deactivate it. So yeah, like that's no longer the case. You can, let's say, remove the need for that. But most people end up activating it again, just, because it's more like the more polite, fluid conversation, I would say.
Can you talk more about the continuous feature that we're working on?
Yeah,
sure. So that way, it's a feature which will allow for not having to use the click to talk button every time you speak.
Right.
It's in development right now.
So right now we have the earpiece. So when you record, you'll see that it turns red, right? And then what continuous mode would allow you to do is just to put it in, never worry about it, just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. The downside of that is that there could be some crosstalk contamination, but you can toggle it on and off with inside the converse mode. And we have implemented a bunch of algorithms to reduce the crosstalk contamination. One is language detection. So if you're speaking Chinese and speaking Spanish, and your device is trying to listen to Spanish, it will discard everything that it identifies as Chinese. Plus the beamforming, that's the algorithm that it's like more implemented into the earpiece directly that records from this area of your mouth. Plus, noise cancellation, volume control, etc. So even if you're in continuous mode, you can have like a very natural, fluid conversation. But we wanted to give the users the flexibility of adapting. Sometimes you're in a very close room with a lot of noise. Sometimes you're in a large meeting room and with no noise. So the product adapts to different scenarios.
Yeah, good point. There was a good question here about battery life. Let's talk about that real quick. What is the battery life? I am out in a new city and doing tours and meeting people. Will the battery last all day?
It won't last all day. So with the biggest size, we could add a 2700 milliamps battery, but still, like, within the actively using it, it would last around 4 hours. So, if you're going to use it for 8 hours continuously, you would either need to charge the units continuously or use, device A during the morning and device B during the afternoon. It is intense. We do have battery protection. So if you're not using the device, it will turn off automatically after 20 seconds. So that prevents the battery from draining.
20 minutes, not 20 seconds.
20 seconds, no, 20 minutes. Yeah. So that would prevent the battery from just draining off.
Yeah, cool. Does the translation software learn from hearing so many different, does the translation software learn from hearing so many different native speakers so it gets better over time?
Correct. Yeah. The models that we're incorporating do include not only the dialects, but the languages. So they keep on improving. And language is also kind of like it's an alive creature, right? It keeps constantly evolving, and we tend to use more verbs at some point in history. So yeah, it does keep improving. That we have also been exploring some solutions. I don't want to promise too much, but we have been also exploring some solutions that would enable us to empower the user for creating their own terms and actually making the product adapt to themselves faster. But that's still on development.
Yeah. Certainly. Okay, let's go through a few more before we jump into the next demo. There's a lot of questions on this product that we want to try to cover. How should and so there's some questions here about digital translation versus acoustic translation. Here's a question, for example, that says, how can I best optimize for recorded media like foreign films, TV, YouTube? And I think there might have been another couple questions about that. So why don't you cover that topic specifically?
Yeah. So when we designed Ambassador, we focused on a human voice, and it's actually different a source of voice that is coming from your mouth than the source of voice that is coming from a speaker. For many ways, not only the way the sound has been treating and the way the sound waves actually travel, but also the models that we use for speech recognition, they need to be trained differently. So like, in an oversimplification of this matter, like you need to train the model with digital voices and then train the model with human voices, right? So right now our models are being trained with human voices, but on that topic, we have heard this over and over, and we're trying to incorporate it too. There is a model that we will add, and the idea is that it will have a toggle, so you can switch between, we call it TV mode, but it's not really TV mode. It could be TV, computers, phone, whatever, as a digital source input that would allow you to switch between the ASR engine, the automatic speech recognition engine, depending if you identify if it's coming from a digital source or a human source. And the reason for that is that if we optimize for human voice, then the ASR engine has better results. So that's why we didn't want to embark like everything, like not all the audio inputs, but just focus on more like an analog input, like an analog human input,
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Let's see what else we have real quick. How long does it take to charge?
It's actually about 4 hours too. Yeah.
About how long?
4 hours.
Cool. Okay.
Fully. Like if you have it in 0, let's say you killed the battery completely. Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's see if we have any last questions before we move on. Could you use lecture and also converse in case you have multi-languages in your presentation?
Oh, you mean, that's actually interesting. The ability to have converse with the capability of connecting the audio output to the speaker. Oh, that's interesting. So the answer is not currently, but that's actually a very interesting alternative. That's a very interesting idea.
Yeah, good question. You can always send us an email to support@waverlylabs.com, and we're happy. We always look at we have a support team that fills these kinds of inquiries and requests, and they pass them off to us on the product side, and we explore them as part of our natural product development process. When you first receive the translator, does it need to be fully charged to turn on? And what is the indication it is on? Maybe you can show the lights.
Yeah, let me show you the lights. So this is the on button. It has like a little icon. I don't think I can show it to you, but when you turn it on, it will do like a little, this one is, let me turn it off actually.
Okay.
You'll see a little blue light when you turn it off. And that, kind of wave that comes from it when it's on. It's like just moving around. The red button is when you push the main button, it would start recording. Sorry. But, in the idle mode, when it's on, you will see this 3 little dots just moving around.
And so that just means it's on and it's in pairing mode, basically ready to pair to smartphone.
Yeah. Some devices will require you to go into pairing mode. This device just goes directly into pairing mode. There was no need to add a button for that because you always want to pair it. So,
yeah, cool.
Yeah. And just to come out of this, like next production batch is also going to have lights are going to be a little bit more visible. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Cool. Great demo. Great presentation. We're going to move on to the next demo. We have there's a couple questions here. We're not going to be able to get to them. We'll try to answer them via email. You can always email us at support@waverlylabs.com. But there are a few questions here that bring up that will be a good segue to the next conversation, which is how is it working in a laptop in Google Meeting or remote meetings, and how can I incorporate Ambassador in Zoom or Google or something where I need to where the meeting is mostly in Spanish running and I need to listen to it in English. Maybe we can talk about that. Let's use that as a segue to talk about how we are developing a solution that is designed for these remote and virtual sessions.
Correct. Perfect. So we have heard of this question before, and especially with the pandemic and everything, it went like the need for that was increasing a lot.
Yeah.
So based on that and based on our IPIs and everything, we decided to, let me share my screen quickly. we decided to create this solution, which is still in beta. Like I want to emphasize that we're in beta mode, but it's basically very similar to the platform to the one we're currently in, but it would allow you to have conversations remotely all around the world with multiple users in your own language, right? So just as a demo, let me just, I'll start a chat room. The idea is that it's very quick and easy. Pretty much just, this is the homepage. I'll just type Sergio and select my language, Spanish from Mexico, and that's it. So right now, let me know if you can see the screen, guys.
Yep.
Yeah,
we can see it.
Perfect. So right now, I'm the only one in the session, pretty much like when you're in Zoom and you're the only one in the conversation. But I just wanted to show you how it works. I have, by default, the audio from the other participant, it's on. I can also switch between dark mode and light mode, depending on the time of the day that you are having your meetings. This might be more convenient or less convenient. And the main thing is inviting someone else to join the conversation, right? This is the record button. This pretty much starts the recording button. And just let me invite Andrew so we can see how it works. Let me send you quickly the link. So when I click that button, the link of that session is automatically copied in my browser. And that's it. That's pretty much it. So for starting the recording, I could either click on spacebar or just click the button with the mouse, right? So, hola Andrew, ¿cómo estás? ¿Me puedes escuchar? Esta es una primera prueba para que podamos tener nuestra primera conversación en idiomas distintos.
Hello, Android. How are you? Can you listen to me? This is a first test, so we can have our first conversation in different languages.
Pretty close. My name is Andrew, not Android. But fair enough. Yeah, so I have the link, and I'm getting the translation. Actually, I can say something back to you actually, since you have since you're the one on full screen. I'll just say, hey man, good to hear from you. Thanks for joining the conference today, so we can demonstrate some of our new products.
Hola amigo, me alegro de saber de ti. Gracias por
I don't know
unirte a
if
la
you can hear the
conferencia hoy
translation,
para que
but I'm
podamos
listening to it
demostrar
because I
algunos
have
de
the
nuestros
headphones.
nuevos productos.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, and right now just English and Spanish, but we could be having multiple users here, right? We could be having Chinese, Japanese, Russian. Maybe gonna try to add somebody else. So yeah, this, as you can see, it's pretty quick, pretty fast. You can use it in your cell phone. It's mobile, it's responsive, so it's mobile friendly, desktop friendly. You just need to send the link to your partners in China if you want to make sure that production comes out at the right price, right time, right size, right everything. It's very good to have a tool like that you can have the certainty that your ideas are properly captured and properly understood. Let me just try to add like a Japanese or whatever, so you can see how it would work. Put another language. So, yeah. Ahora pueden ver que lo que yo vaya a decir en español se va a traducir en inglés y se va a traducir en japonés de manera simultánea.
Now you can see that what I am going to say in Spanish is going to be translated into English and translated into Japanese simultaneously.
Guys, you're being bombarded by audio, but you'll get the idea, right? So yeah, so you could have multiple users. Let's say you have a team of like 10 people, whatever, around the world. This is very good. And again, you have the text reference, so you can always use the transcript for using it. Currently, since it's in beta, we're testing it. We're getting feedback from users. This platform, the UI, it's going to change slightly just to make it a little bit more friendly, more intuitive too. But we wanted to validate that that there was a need, that people actually wanted to have something like this. And currently in the beta testing that we've been doing, we have been getting positive responses about this. So this is a solution they need. And you can use this in parallel with other solutions. I mean, as you can see right now, we are using Zoom and the translation engine. So you don't really need to worry about like integrations or like microphone contamination or whatever. So yeah, this is another exciting solution. I think we're gonna keep the beta for a while. We just want to keep testing, adding new features by layers. So it's a very robust release. But once we're ready, we're gonna definitely let you know, guys. And please help us spread the word about this too.
Cool, great, man. So that's Ambassador Web, and that is a feature. That's a product that we're working on. It's designed for virtual and remote sessions. Right now, it's in beta testing, like Sergio said, and yeah, over the next few months, we'll continue to test it, refine it, and then eventually publish it sometime in January. We're not sure yet. In addition to that, we have a lot of other products and features that we're working on. We talked about some of these features for Ambassador already. One of them being the continuous mode, which is designed to not have to require the click to talk button every time. And then the live translator, the real-time translation, the true real-time algorithm that we're developing. So we have quite a bit in our pipeline, as well as some other apps and products that we have that we'll be debuting, I think, in January, along with this virtual Ambassador Web product. The other ones include things like something better tailored for conferences, and other products that are better tailored for certain industries like travel and tourism and hospitality. So we'll be showing and debuting those off later this year or January. And our goal, our passion really is to just, as we talked about, it's part of our vision is to build voice and language products for professionals and teams. And so Ambassador Interpreter is really great for these face-to-face conversations, and Ambassador Web will be great for virtual and remote sessions as well.
Correct. Yeah, and this is a product that is constantly evolving, constantly improving. We're going to keep on adding more and more solutions. Like the custom terms that we were talking about for particular verbs that are, unique for your company, unique for a name or whatever, stuff like that. And, that's just an example of like a huge list of like improvements and pipelines just to make this, like an ubiquitous solution for everybody that wants to speak to somebody that speaks a different language. I think this would be the first option.
Cool, great, man. Let's go through a few more of these questions that we have. Are we going to relieve a version for simultaneous interpretation? The answer is, yeah, we're working on that right now. We're working on an algorithm that does perform simultaneous translation, which is essentially what that means is it's as you're speaking, it's translating alongside you in true real-time fashion. It's nothing that exists right now in the market. It's something that we've been developing for a while now. We are hoping to test it, to put it into beta testing later this year, before we release it sometime at the end of the year or over winter in general. So it's very complicated. It's very difficult to translate immediately as you're speaking, but it is something that we've been focused on for a while now. And so, fingers crossed, we'll have it ready very, very soon. Some more questions. Does the phone app utilize the new version and the original version of the earpieces?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, maybe this is related to the firmware, I'm guessing,
Or,
so
yeah, or talking about Pilot earbuds or something, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, because I mean, if that's a question with Pilot, you cannot use Ambassador and vice versa.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is actually a good gateway for the question about the firmware. So constantly we release firmware updates. So not only the app gets updated, but also the earpieces get updated. So that adds new capabilities, more power management. So like, we're trying to make the battery last longer, making it easier to connect, making it easier to pair, stuff like that. So if you have your ambassadors on the settings page, you will see a red bubble. And then when you click there, it would tell you that you can update the firmware. So on the settings part.
Yeah,
Just,
cool.
Yeah. Cool.
You there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just switching the camera. Just like just wanted to show that icon, but yeah. I'm here.
Okay. Cool. Here's an interesting question. What if someone wanted to invest? I know you offered investors a good deal before. Do you still have the same deal? Yeah, actually we are. I mean, we're a startup and we've been doing quite well for ourselves, but we do take public investments before we list publicly, essentially. You can find, we have a broker dealer called startengine.com. I'll send you let me put it here in the chat. Here is where you can find our campaign. It's at startengine.com/Waverly. If you're interested in making an investment, you're more than welcome to. You're more than happy to. We have, I think, over 2,000 investors, and from smaller investors all the way up to large angel, very, very large checks from angel and other investment funds. So we would love to welcome any new investors to the table. You can again go to our broker dealer's website, startengine.com/Waverly. And from there, you can find all the information that you would need to learn more about the company, our financials, and our trajectory and our roadmap and everything. So thanks for that. Okay, let's see. Does the phone, more questions about the product. Does the phone app pair the original earbud and the new over-the-ear option together? Okay, I think he's talking about, Pilot and the Ambassador. So 2 different products, 2 different apps, right?
Yeah, and it's, since the firmware, the Bluetooth protocol, everything is different, we couldn't really merge them. Yeah, even if we wanted to. Yeah, it's like,
Here's a question. Okay, it's long. Let's see. So if you have 3 people in conversation mode, one speaks English, one speaks Italian, one speaks French. Does each person have an earbud that is set to their language? Such as the English person sets theirs to English, French to French, and Italian to Italian. And each person speaks their native language, and the other 2 people hear the translation in their native language. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it supports up to 4 devices, 4 earbuds paired together. You could have English, Spanish, English, French, Italian, and Spanish or something. And yeah, each person will just speak in their normal language, and it'll translate to the other 3 people in their language that they selected. Exactly it. A lot of questions. Let me see if I see that some of the questions are actually coming in via the chat also, not the Q&A. What is the timing of the continuous release, the continuous mode versus the click to talk mode?
Right. I mean, we actually, in the internal releases, we already have it. We have a testing team actually that is very good and helps us to test, debug any possible mistakes. So before any customer finds out, we want to find out. We've been, I think maybe in the next 2 releases we will totally have it. We will totally have it implemented because we've been improving a lot. We just want to polish it and keep it as perfect as possible for you guys. So yeah, 2 releases down the road. We're currently in 86, so yeah, it's coming out soon. So
yeah, exactly. Cool. Okay, we're going to go through some more. Which speech recognition engine do you use? Just curious. We actually use an amalgamation of systems. So think about it like this. I'm not sure the arithmetic. There's 20 languages that we support in 42 dialects, right?
Right.
So that's basically a different engine for every language, for speech recognition, machine translation, and then speech synthesis as well. So that's 42 plus 20 is 62, I suppose. Different speech recognition engines and different speech synthesis engines. And then each language pair has its own model. So it's like English to Spanish is one, English to French is another one, Spanish to French is a third one. So it's not like you have one English translation model and it works for every language. It's not how it works. So it's almost like a factorial or something, 20 times 40, 20 times 19 or something. I don't know what it is. So it's some crazy high number in terms of how many engines. So we actually use an amalgamated system. We have our own data and we make our own models, but we also amalgamate from data brokers globally when we're developing and designing the system in general. Okay. Okay, this guy, if I have a RAV battery pack, can it function while being charged by the charger in my pocket?
Yeah, and the answer is yes. Yeah. I mean, if it's charging with a battery pack, you can still turn it on. It will pair, but yeah, just kind of inconvenient the wire, but yeah.
Cool. Could you show to the camera how? Question here is, could you show the camera how you update the hardware? So
sure.
Firmware update.
So
we do have app updates, which is just a simple app update through your phone, and then firmware updates, which update the software on the hardware, and that's Sergio will show you how to do that.
So let me go to the app. You turn on the device. Oh, well, actually, you just have one paired. This is an internal review version. You can see that we have the beta symbol right there. But you know, for you guys, you just need to click in here. When there's an update available, you'll see that, you know, gear with the red bubble. So when you click on it, it will send you to the next menu. I'm gonna go in this case to my beta menu, just because I have and it will list it will send you to this firmware window. You will have all the devices that you have paired listed, and then just like select the firmware and update. It's pretty straightforward. So it's just going to settings and clicking update.
Right. And so that actually, that firmware means, for those who don't know, firmware means the software on the earbud itself.
Right.
So it'll improve the noise cancellation algorithm, or it'll improve some other feature, battery performance or something. So it's important to check for those firmware updates periodically. We release them probably at least once every 3 months or so. With the pandemic, is there a recommended sanitizing product if sharing and loaning out devices?
It'll be good. I mean, if you can wipe it before sharing it, yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, is there a bit just any typical sanitizing wipe should work, right? Because I think that you chose a coating on the earbud that was porous enough to not absorb.
Right. Yeah. The surface and the surface of the material, the PBA, are less prone to just like absorb anything in terms of like, you know, moisture, fungus or whatever. So it's a very easy to clean surface too.
Yeah, cool. Does it have the capability to automatically recognize the language a stranger is speaking and translate the conversation to my preferred language?
Yeah, no, that'll be actually a cool feature, but we don't have it yet. It's just like a lot of languages are very similar. Like if you hear Portuguese and Spanish and Italian, pretty much like the same. So it could be a hard task. So yeah, we haven't been focusing on that.
Yeah. It would be a great feature. It's something that we should definitely put on our product development timeline. Is there any plans for any future for new languages in the future?
We did have a forum where people would, like, every time we get asked to add X or Y language, we count it, and then we try to implement those suggestions into the pipeline, develop everything, the ASR, the machine translation, etc. We recently added Hebrew, Vietnamese, like Dutch. Like we constantly try to update it, but it's more pushed by the community. Like if you guys want a specific language, let us know. We will add it into like the count of languages. We do want to release languages that we know have a good enough quality, right? We could add many languages, but then the quality would be sacrificed. So we don't want to offer like okay products. You know, we want to offer like great products. So before releasing a product, we want to make sure that the quality is good. And just as a comment, we do have Portuguese, and we have Portuguese from Portugal and from Brazil. So because I saw it in the notes. So
I think someone asked for Ukraine also. Ukrainian. Do we have? Do we not have Ukrainian?
no, we don't have Ukrainian. No. Although Ukrainians are very good with languages, they always speak like 4 languages. We do have Russian, so you know, yeah, Russian. It's like, you know, a good plan B. You know.
Oh, Swedish is another one that we get a lot. I think, I don't know. Swedish, is that on our list? We can put it on our list.
Yeah, I mean, we don't currently have it, so yeah, it'd be great.
All right. We will definitely try to add Swedish and Ukrainian by the end of the year. No promises, but we will attempt to do so. Okay, we have a few minutes left in our session here. I think we can go through a couple last questions here, but Sergio, I just want to make sure that you have plenty of time in case there was anything left that you wanted to continue to talk about.
No, not really. Just to mention, I saw that there were some questions in Spanish. I'll reach to you guys later off this chat directly by text.
Yeah, cool. I think we are going to circulate the session. I think we are going to circulate the session. I know we're recording it, so we're probably going to circulate it via social media and email. Put it on our blog as well. So if you are not following us on social media, follow us. And if you're not following us on social media, follow us. And if you're not, and via email, follow us via email as well. And also, for those that were asking us also more questions about investing or from investors or something, you can go to our website, our broker dealer's website, startengine.com/Waverly. And they are the broker dealer which is hosting our investment campaign. We are taking investments. We're going to close a campaign probably in about a month or month and a half or something like that. So if you were thinking about it or interested, do so right now before we close the campaign and you miss out, because we probably won't open another campaign for a while. Yeah, we have like, I think 2,000 investors or something like that, a few $1 million raised. So cool. Let me see. I don't know. Let me just take one last look here. If there are any last questions. There's a few things here. Let's see. What is your opinion of Wordly? I don't know who they are. I think they're an online platform. I've seen them. I don't know if they're just like document translation or something. We really do focus on, and that's what our focus is conversational translation. So we really want to disrupt the way people are trying to have conversations in face-to-face environments, you and me sitting at a table around a conference room. Although the new product, Ambassador Web, is really designed for those virtual sessions and remote sessions for teams and collaborations globally. But really the thing that sets us apart is the fact that we have designed and are working on conversational translation, which is very difficult. It's a lot different than like translating a document or translating a quick phrase. And yeah, last question here, Catherine, can you provide transcripts of questions? We can certainly circulate this this recording. I think we will, but on the topic of transcripts, we do support transcripts and downloads of transcripts, right? In the product.
Correct. Yeah. You can download it, share it on PDF format. It's very convenient. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Thanks. I think that's everything. I don't know if there's anything last thing you wanted to add, but I don't know if there's any last thing that you wanted to add, but yeah, this was a great session. I'm really excited to show off these new products that we're working on. If anyone wants to beta test the new Ambassador Web, you can send us an email at support@waverlylabs.com. And we are more than happy to invite you. It's kind of, it's in private beta. So, but if you do have an environment where you want to test in virtual and remote translation scenarios, then you can send us an email at support@waverlylabs.com, and we can reach out to you about doing so. Otherwise, if you have any questions about about the product, you can reach us at support@waverlylabs.com. If you want more information about the investment opportunity, go to startengine.com/Waverly. And I think that's it. Sergio, any last words?
Well, I mean, first, thanks for joining, guys. Second, be sure that we keep thinking about how to improve the product every day. We have a big list. So the product is just going to be getting better and better and better, incorporating more solutions into the market. So, and all your ideas, all your suggestions are highly appreciated, so just like reach out and we will incorporate, like there were a bunch of great ideas today that we haven't thought of. So, we want to, let's say we're together in this, and the mission of the company is, it's still the same. We want to break the language barrier. So please reach out with any suggestions or ideas. I'm actually looking at some right now, the Q&A. So,
Yeah, totally. Cool. All right, we're gonna go ahead and close the session out here. Thanks so much, guys, for joining and attending. It was a pleasure to show off the new products. Follow us on social media and via email. We are going to be debuting more products and more features over the next few months. And in January at CES 2022, at the big hardware conference, the biggest, I think it's the world's largest consumer electronics show, we'll be debuting a lot of products. So make sure that you're following us if you're not currently, and always feel free to reach out to us at support@waverlylabs.com. And that's it. Thanks, guys.
Perfect.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining, man. Great demo.
Take care, guys.
Bye.